Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Sampson from Telefilm Canada, and I administer work on a team that administers the Canada Media Fund programs. So my Telefilm Canada colleagues work on the feature film side, and we work on the TV side. I have a PowerPoint that I'd like to present just to let you know what kind of funds we have and specifically talk about our digital linear series fund, which used to be called Web Series. And please feel free to send me any questions and I'll answer them as we go along. I'm just going to share my PowerPoint. Okay, so the mandate of the Canada Media Fund is to foster and develop talent finance projects and also promote them. So the short form is CMF, we call them. It supports the development and production of Canadian audiovisual content for broadcast television or digital distribution, which means, GEM, Crave, APTN's Loonie, and that's what we call the convergence stream. We also have an experimental stream, which supports, which is not broadcaster based, which supports innovative and leading edge interactive digital media projects, which means games, apps, a lot of VR and AR. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. This is our budget that we had this year. 352,583,000 to support Canadian producers. And it's so small, but it lists our different programs that we have. So we fund projects in English and French. We also fund, we have an Indigenous stream and there's a language component to that. And we also have a program that's diverse languages, and we fund projects in Urdu, Tamil, Tagalog, Portuguese, German, whatever language you want to submit. These are the kind of genres that we support. So Schitt's Creek happily supported that for 6 years. So that's in our drama category, which is basically anything that's scripted, we call drama. Then we have a documentary. We fund documentary series, one-off documentaries, feature-length documentaries. Then we have variety and performing arts, which would be, like Battle of the Blades or something like that. And then we have children's and youth. So we do animated, live action, anything that skews for children up to, 17 years old. This is a really important slide. This, and if you're watching, please take a snapshot. This is a slide of all the ineligible programs. So these are the things we do not fund. So instructional, which is, how to. So if you were doing, maybe like a cooking show or a home renovation show or something like that, there's no fundraising. News, game shows, award shows. Sometimes, that's tricky because sometimes some award shows can fall into variety, which we do support. So you'd have to just contact us and walk us through that with you. Travelogue, so a travel program, we wouldn't support. Talk shows. Lifestyle's tricky. A lot of producers think that their documentary series is a documentary series, and we may think it's a lifestyle. So that's something that we'd have to work through with you. Religious programming, magazines, music videos, stuff like that. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact any of us at Telefilm on the CMF side, and we'd be happy to answer that question. We also have something called the pre-application process, which is you can log into our, we use a portal for all of our programs called Dialogue. You can log into Dialogue and you can ask us a question. You could submit your your one sheet or your creative, and you could, we will assess it and let you know whether it's eligible for any funds that we have or not. So this is basically how, most people are financing projects in Canada. So, the broadcaster kicks down some money, maybe a distributor if you're doing a documentary or a feature film, a provincial tax credits, federal tax credits, Canada Media Fund, other funds, and, other, provincial agencies, or, if you're doing a feature, Harold Greenberg or something, private broadcaster license fees, and then, foreign if you're doing a co-pro. So specifically, I'm going to discuss our digital linear series fund. So we are in the midst right now of looking at projects. We have an international jury who assesses the projects with us. We're looking for projects in their second or subsequent season. So if you are just starting out with a web series, you can't apply for funding with us. I would suggest you go to the Bell Fund or the Independent Production Fund, or perhaps some other way of financing it, and then come to us for your second or subsequent season. We see lots of web series or digital linear series, which we're calling them now, that are that work with broadcasters. Some are just on YouTube, some are on Facebook, and because it's not tied to a broadcaster, it can be. That's why we allow the not Canadian platforms like YouTube and Facebook, etc. So we give 60% up to $250,000 to your project. It's a recoupable investment. So if you make money, we'd like to, share that. You can have an international co-pro. We don't see a lot of them, but it's possible. And we fund those 4 categories of genres that you saw on that slide. We fund drama, which is scripted, children's and youth, or documentary. We do not support variety in digital linear series at this time. So, and a series for us is at least 3 episodes, 2 minutes minimum in duration. And as I mentioned, it's an international jury. We are looking for projects that will, will go worldwide, be global, be interesting to people in Europe or Southeast Asia or wherever. And as I mentioned, it's the second season or later. And IPF and Bell Fund are here. And if you need any more information, I've got my email on the end of this slide, this PowerPoint, and you can get in touch with me and I'll get you in touch with those people. I thought I'd include other funds that we have. We also have an Indigenous program. We have a Franco-Mino. So we get a lot of projects, a lot of clients from New Brunswick applying to Franco-Mino, French speaking. We get very few English speaking producers applying to our funds from New Brunswick at this time. And I hope that changes. I hope by doing this, you'll get in touch with me and see how we can get some funding for you, because I'd love to have more producers from New Brunswick who aren't just applying to the Franco-Mino Fund. We also have a POV documentary fund, which is a point of view documentaries. So that these funds, their deadlines are generally once a year, except for the Franco-Mino, which is in the spring and the fall. But the POV fund is generally at the end of May. And you don't have to have a broadcaster on board at the beginning, but you do have to have third-party interest of 15%, but it's all in the guidelines. You can go to the CMF website and check all the guidelines for these. And the Diverse Language Fund, which I mentioned earlier, which is for any language you want to make something in. And that, of course, again, is the 4 genres: variety, scripted, children's and youth, and doc. We also have international incentive funds, and we can fund web series through some of these. So Inca is Columbia, Medium Board is Berlin. So we have a fund just with the city of Berlin. Sorry, Inca, did I say? Oh, that's Proimagines is Columbia, excuse me. And then we have the Danish Film Institute, or yeah, Danish Film Institute, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Luxembourg. We had one last year with Scotland. It unfortunately wasn't renewed this year. We're hoping it will be for next year. NFVF, which is South Africa. The deadline was just last Friday for that one. We've got a new one with the Arts Council of England. And we have new funds coming. I think in January, they're going to be announcing one with Italy. So they happen all the time. So it's good to go to the CMF website. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can sign up for their news blasts. So you can find out when these new funds come up and when deadlines are approaching for other funds. But we do support, the majority of these funds are development, and we do support with some of them the development of web series. This is a really great place to go for information about what's happening in, in the entertainment world. The CMF has a great team that follow trends and put out these white sheets. So, why, cross-sector documentary collaborations. A couple of years ago, they did a big deep dive into podcasts, and now we're funding some podcasts in the Convergence stream. So it's not podcasts on their own, but if you do a documentary and you didn't want to do a website, you wanted to do a podcast to make that convergent, we support that now. And that came from one of their reports. This is a great, this is on YouTube, Encore Plus. This is where you can find all of the projects that Telefilm and CMF funds. It's a really good resource. And so this is just a little bit about us. We administer, Telefilm Canada administers the Canada Media Fund. We have close to, Telefilm is in charge of all the treaties. There's close to 60 with different countries around the world. Since 2010, CMF has contributed over $2 billion to the TV industry, including production support for over 3,000 projects, including 260 co-pros. Since 2010, and I'm citing 2010 because that's when the Canada Media Fund transitioned to the Canada Media Fund. Before that, they were the Canadian Television Fund. Since 2010, CMF contributed over $250 million to interactive digital media content, the content industry, including development, marketing, production, support for over 600 projects, with over 70 being international co-pros. And for this coming year, as I mentioned, we have incentives with Berlin, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Luxembourg, Colombia, UK, Argentina was that one that I missed, Argentina, Denmark, New Zealand, South Africa, and Wallonia, Belgium, Brazil, and Italy. The Wallonia, some of these, Denmark, Wallonia are digital media only, which is really a lot of VR or games, but contact me and I'll walk you through all of them. This is my contact details. That's my phone number and my email address. Please feel free to contact me, and I'd be happy to walk you through any of the many funds that we have. And there's also a 1-800 number, which will go to our coordinators who can also help you as well. I'd love to take some questions if anybody has any. Well, were there any questions from the film festival? I think that there were. You mentioned that you had some come in. Okay. Well, as I mentioned, we do see applications from Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and in the experimental stream, the digital stream, we do have a lot of clients in PEI. I really would love to get more New Brunswick applications into all of our programs. So a question from Brenda, at what point should filmmakers start working with you? Well, at the very beginning, we have a lot of pre-development programs, which means writing pitch documents. So we could help you finance your writing. So you write if you're doing a series, we could help you write a Bible and a couple of scripts or some outlines. And then you would take that to a broadcaster and pitch it to them, and hopefully they'll go into another stage of development with you or go right into production. That happens too. So I would say at the beginning would be a good idea. Is my presentation available for download? It's not, but please contact me and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you. Thanks, Brenda. To apply for second season CMF, what are the number of views needed? That's a great question. It depends. It's a selective fund, so you are competing with everybody else that submitted. So, if we ask for analytics with the application, so and if you it depends. I mean, the entire thing isn't based on, not the scoring isn't based completely on the analytics. So if you have low numbers like in the 400s or something, but your creatives are really strong and you have great market interest support, the analytics won't count that much. This fund is so great. Thank you for bringing this info to Brunswick. It's really appreciated. You're very welcome. Please apply. Please apply. We, as I mentioned, I'd love to see more Anglophone New Brunswickers apply to these funds. We have a great representation from Francophone, but so next deadline. So once a year. So it'll be next fall. Unfortunately, we're in the middle right now of looking at the applications. We have a comparative with our jury at the beginning of December. So it'll be probably next October, in September or October for the deadline. Yeah. How many typically apply across Canada? It depends. The numbers are different. In the past, we've received well over 50. We have below 50 this year. The number that we generally can support is between 14 and 18 projects a year. So it's pretty competitive. From which province do the most submissions come from? Ontario, Quebec, BC, probably, I would say. Some from Manitoba, but generally Ontario, Quebec, and BC. And we can fund English and French. I don't know if I mentioned that. English and French for the web series, we split it 2/3, 1/3, because we generally get more English applications than French. So 2/3 of the money goes to English, 1/3 goes to the French market. Do a lot of horror genre projects get a green light? I don't think we've had a lot of horror genres. Not that we would be an issue for us. But I don't think we've seen a lot of them. It's not to say that they wouldn't. If it was, if the scripts were great and the links, the first season, we obviously look at the links, the previous seasons, and if it's really well done and it speaks to the jury members, I don't see why it wouldn't get a green light. What are the most popular genres that receive funding? It's really varied. We certainly don't have a mandate about, whether it's children's and youth documentary or a drama. We don't have to pick a certain number from each genre. We just, whatever scores the highest gets picked. I would say drama, definitely. There's a lot of there's so many different types. There's kids shows, kid drama shows. There's some great young adult LGBTQ web series that we've funded. Yeah, it's just kind of across the board, everything. If you have pitches available already, do you just send them via application, or can you talk to some? Oh, you can of course talk to us personally, no problem. Deadline for second season funding. Yeah, so we just had it. So I think I'm answering this properly. So a year from now will be the next deadline. But please, yeah, reach out to me or I can get you in touch with somebody, one of our staff members, and we can go through your application with you. And even if you're in your first season, please reach out to us, and we're happy to get you in touch with the Bell Fund or IPF or walk you through what you need to know. If you have 4 or 5 seasons written, best to talk to you personally. 4 or 5 seasons written but not produced? Is that what you mean? Do you mean seasons or do you mean scripts? I don't know. I guess if you have 4 or 5 seasons written, scripts. Perfect. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Give me a call. Happy to walk you through it. And if it's for your first season, again, I'll, just so you know, the IPF fund, which is the Independent Production Fund, I believe they only fund dramas, scripted web series. But the Bell Fund also does documentaries. So they're a great place to go. And I don't know what your provincial agency, if there's any support there or not. In, Creative BC, Ontario Creates, they have funding for digital linear series as well, but I don't know about the New Brunswick one. What was the funniest project you have funded? I guess you mean in digital linear. We've had loads of funny ones. We funded the amazing Gail Pyle, which is really great. Really, really funny. We have funded True Dating Stories, which is also really funny. There's lots of hilarious projects we funded. But we also don't just fund comedy. We like, serious subjects too. And children's, and, stuff aimed at kids is great too. Also, I guess I would say if you, don't hesitate to reach out to the broadcasters like CBC and Bell and other broadcasters, because they are really seeing the advantage of web series right now. So they are participating, they are giving licenses, and they're either putting them on their home webpage, or they're, maybe bundling them and putting them on Crave or Gem. But they are really, they are taking an interest. So you should reach out to the broadcasters to see if they will give you some license money. What avenues for first-time submitters, Bell or IPF, Mr. Response? Yep. So IPF, Independent Production Fund for dramas. Bell will do dramas and documentaries. I urge you to go to their websites. They have a great list of all of the projects previously funded with them, so you can see the kind of projects that they've picked in the past and see if you sort of fit with them. Thanks for all these great questions, by the way. Maybe no more questions coming in. Oh, do festivals accepted web stuff? Do festivals accept web stuff on episode? I'm not sure I understand that. Do festivals accepted web stuff? I don't know. I mean, there are, an episode from a series. So I'm not sure I understand that question. And treat it like a short film. Not that I don't know, to be honest, I have no idea. I don't deal with a lot of festivals, so I don't know. You've seen it happen, great. I really can't answer that. I don't know. But I do see, you know, there is broadcaster interest if, you know, if you're doing a short, if you're doing a web series and you if it's like 8 minutes or something, they'll like sometimes put 3 together to stream it. So it feels like a sort of like an episode, if that helps. But I would definitely, you know, contact us about pre-development. I don't think, you know, it's never a good idea for you guys to use your talent and write for free. So you should get paid for it. So please get in touch with us about pre-development funding. It opens early. So how it works for us, we are closing in a couple of weeks, and then we are assessing all the applications that we have until March and trying to contract everything. We open again in middle April, probably the 11th or something, for applications, and new programs will start. And you should definitely go on the CMF website and subscribe to get email blasts, because you don't want to miss it, because pre-development goes pretty quickly. So you know, please, if it opens at the end of April and you think about it in May, the money's probably gone. So it's definitely a good idea to keep up with all of the deadlines, and feel free to contact any of us, and we will help you set up a dialogue account, because that's the only way that you can access the funding with us, and we'll help you walk through everything. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you didn't get a chance to answer a question, again, my email address is Jill, Jill.Samson, SAMSON @telefilm.ca. Please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you at any time, and introduce you to the myriad of programs that we have, because we have so many. Hopefully one is a good fit for you. So thanks for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure, and I hope to hear from you.